All right, so real quick. Ever spent like way too long digging through your bag for a flash drive that's just MIA?
Oh, I've been there. Who hasn't?
Right. Or resorted to like emailing that giant file to yourself.
Mhm.
Because honestly, sometimes cloud storage is just more trouble than it's worth, you know?
It's practically a rite of passage in the tech world. The struggle is real.
Totally.
Yeah.
But that groan of frustration so many of us have felt, turns out that's exactly how Dropbox went from a simple idea to, well, a household name.
It's kind of amazing when you think about it. They tapped into this need that seemed so basic, yet it was something everyone was dealing with.
Absolutely. So today we're going to dive deep into Dropbox, how they nailed that whole product market fit thing, built this viral growth strategy that people still rave about, and how they managed to not just survive, but thrive alongside some of the biggest names in tech.
What's fascinating to me about the Dropbox story is that they weren't trying to create the most cutting-edge, complex technology out there. They were laser-focused on solving a very human problem.
Yeah.
How do we make it insanely easy for people to access their stuff? Anytime, anywhere.
And that story, it starts, like so many great tech stories do, with a frustrated grad student. Enter Drew Houston, Dropbox co-founder. Word on the street is he kept forgetting his USB drive. Sound familiar?
Oh, yeah. Been there, done that, felt that pain.
Yeah.
But Houston's experience highlights a really crucial point.
Hmm.
The best solutions often come from people who've experienced the problem firsthand. He wasn't just imagining this frustration, he was living it.
Exactly. And instead of accepting the whole lost files thing as an unavoidable part of life, he thought, hold on, there's got to be a better way. So that brings us to the early days of Dropbox and their almost obsessive focus on making things simple, especially for people who weren't, coding wizards.
It was genius, really, because back then, a lot of the cloud storage options out there were, to put it mildly, not very user-friendly. Clunky interfaces, confusing setups. If you weren't already a techie, it was intimidating. Dropbox came along and said, nope, we're going to make this so easy anyone can do it. And their slogan, it just works. That wasn't just a marketing line, it was their entire philosophy.
Right. It's like sometimes you don't need all the bells and whistles. You just want things to work, period.
Exactly. And Dropbox was amazing at showing people just how easy file sharing could be. Remember those early Dropbox demo
Oh,
videos?
yeah. Those are great.
They were brilliant.
Yeah.
Clean, to the point, and they walked you through exactly how Dropbox could make your life easier. No jargon, no complicated diagrams, just pure problem and solution.
And that, my friend, is how you launch a viral growth rocket ship, because that demo, it did more than just explain Dropbox. It spread like wildfire through the tech community.
It was the perfect example of how to explain even a tech product in a way that anyone could understand. It tapped into the shared frustration, and then boom, offered a solution that seemed so obvious, so elegant, that people couldn't help but share it.
It was like the digital version of you have to see this. And speaking of sharing, we got to talk about that referral program. Now that was marketing genius on a whole other level.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
practically legendary at this point. But think about it. Dropbox offered 500 millibytes of free storage, not just for the person making the referral, but the person joining too. Back when storage space was like gold, that was a huge deal.
It was. People were sending out Dropbox invites like they were Willy Wonka, and those invites were golden tickets. But what made it so successful? Was it just the storage, or was there something more at play?
It was a combination of things. Yes, 500 millibytes was incredibly generous back in, what was it, 2008. But I think the real genius was the two-sided reward. Both people benefited. So you weren't just passively using Dropbox, you were invested in its success.
Right.
The more friends you brought in,
The more storage you got, it was brilliant.
it completely changed the game.
Genius. Okay, so we've got this crazy simple product that solves a real problem and a referral program that's basically a word of mouth marketing machine on steroids. What's next in the Dropbox playbook?
Well, that's where they rolled out another stroke of strategic brilliance,
Yeah.
the freemium model.
Yeah. The freemium model, it's basically like try before you buy, but for software.
Makes sense.
So Dropbox give you all the basic features totally free, just enough to get you hooked on that, seamless file sharing experience.
It's true. Once you go Dropbox, it's hard to go back to like
Yeah.
emailing yourself files.
Right. And then if you needed more storage or, those more advanced features, they had a paid tier all set up.
Like a little on-ramp to the Dropbox superhighway.
Exactly.
Start with the free version you're cruising along, and then boom, you hit that upgrade because you can't imagine life without it.
It's such a classic strategy, and it worked like a charm for them, but their timing was also, spot on.
Yeah, this was back when cloud storage was still kind of a new thing. right? It was uncharted territory for a lot of people. So
Right.
this freemium model wasn't just about making money. It was about showing people what cloud storage could do.
It was like they were saying, hey, we know you're going to love this so much, we'll give you a sneak peek for free.
Exactly. No risk, just try it out. And guess what? People ate it up.
They sure did. But just as Dropbox was hitting its stride, those tech giants we talked about, they started to take notice.
Yeah, that's when the pressure really ramped up.
hmm
Google, Microsoft, Apple. They all saw dollar signs with cloud storage, and they came in ready to play hardball.
It was like watching a monster truck rally suddenly break out in a library.
Pretty much. And that's where things could have gone south for Dropbox. A lot of companies would just crumbled under that kind of competition.
It's true, David versus Goliath and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Dropbox, they did something really smart. They adapted. They knew they couldn't outspend these giants, so they had to outthink them.
Okay, now I'm really interested. How'd they pull that off?
They shifted gears. They saw this need for business collaboration tools, and they went all in on it. That's how Dropbox for Business was born.
So they were like, all right, we're not going to try to be everything to everyone. We're going to focus on this one thing and be the absolute best at it.
Exactly. They created their own lane, and they dominated it.
Smart move. But there's another part of the Dropbox story that I think is just fascinating. Remember how we talked about control being a big thing for them? Well, that extended to their actual infrastructure.
Oh, yeah, that was a bold move. They decided to build their own data storage infrastructure.
Wait, so they weren't just making the software, they were making the entire system behind it. That seems incredibly ambitious.
It was a gamble, for sure, but it was a calculated one. By controlling their own infrastructure, Dropbox had this level of flexibility and control that most of their competitors could only dream of.
So they were calling the shots from top to bottom.
Precisely. They weren't limited by what someone else could provide, and it paid off big time.
It's like they were playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. They were thinking so many steps ahead.
It's a great analogy. And the results speak for themselves. Over 600 million users worldwide, a successful IPO in 2018. They're still a major player in the cloud storage game.
It really goes to show what a little bit of vision and a whole lot of hard work can accomplish. So there you have it. From a grad student who just wanted to remember where he put his files to a billion-dollar company, talk about a success story.
It really makes you think sometimes the simplest ideas are the ones with the biggest impact.
Right. They saw a problem that everyone had and they were like, all right, we can fix that. And they did. But for those of us who aren't, tech geniuses, what's the big takeaway here? What can we all learn from Dropbox, even if we're not trying to build the next big thing?
You know what I think it comes down to? It's about being aware of the little frustrations, the things that make you think there have to be a better way.
Yeah, like those little annoyances that we just accept as part of life.
Exactly. Because often those little annoyances, those are actually opportunities.
So like Dropbox found a better way to share files. Maybe we can find a better way to, I don't know, organize our desks or something.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be world-changing. It just has to make your life a little bit easier. And you never know, it might just turn into something amazing.
It's like they say the best inventions come from solving everyday problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dropbox is proof that even something as mundane as file storage can have a huge impact.
It makes you wonder what other problems are out there just waiting for someone to come up with a solution.
Food for thought, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Dropbox. Hope you enjoyed the ride because I know I did.
Me too. Always a pleasure to dig into these tech success stories.
Until next time, folks, keep your eyes open for those everyday problems because you never know, they might just spark your next brilliant idea.